season. I'm here for you. Trust me, I usually need it too. I find the holiday season to be endearing, but also quite difficult always. So, this is why I'm making this video. I will do part two on my Patreon. And by the way, I still have the holiday sale going on. So that means that the prices are lower by 20% until Christmas, and after that they will go back up. And if you sign up during this period, it will stay like this forever, unless you cancel, of course. So I will also say some like personal holiday stories on my Patreon. I'll save those for that. Now, let's start reading. I specifically chose some fail stories because I feel like we can all laugh at those, you know. Okay. One Christmas Eve, when I was young, my little brother and I both heard a loud noise coming from the living room. We got out of bed and tiptoed down the hallway to discover our dad vacuuming the floor. He told us that the reindeer got into the house and pooped on the carpet. Of course, we believed the story. Years later, he revealed that he accidentally knocked the tree over when setting up our presents around the tree. Oh gosh. Okay, next story. I was hosting Christmas dinner, and while checking the turkey, the whole casserole dish slid out of oven and shattered on the floor. My turkey, oh my poor turkey, had little shards of glass all over. My cousins came to the rescue, blew away the shards, and brushed others off and said, "It's still good." But everyone was too scared to eat it at dinner. There's no way that turkey was safe to be eaten. For God's sake, no. No. Because there must have been so many tiny shards of glass that you didn't even see, and you would eat all of those. Like, whoever thought that it was a good idea, I'm praying for you, because you really need it. Okay, next story. A few years back, when my husband and I were dating, he bought a ring. The ring. Wrapped it in a box and put it under the tree. Come Christmas Day, we were watching as everyone opened up their gifts. I watched as his dad picked up a box, opened it, and looked down at the gift he had just opened. Realizing what it was, he silently passed over it to my now husband with an uh-oh expression on his face. My now husband looked down into the box and with no expression or words handed it to me as is. I saw a ring, thanked him, confused. Wait a minute, pause. He didn't even got down on one knee. What are you doing, my friend? Okay. Right. Then later in the car, as we drove to my parents' house, he looked at me and said, "That was supposed to be an engagement ring, you know. Perfect proposal, right?" Okay, I don't know if you have done a Christmas proposal. Kudos to you. Personally, I would absolutely hate that. I think that it's better to pick a completely random, or not random, but any other day that's maybe special to you instead of Christmas Day. It's just same with Valentine's Day. I'm sorry, it's like there, where is the creativity? And also say it. It just, I think that it's not creative, because I know a lot of couples that got proposed, or got engaged I should say, on Christmas Day. I mean, I kind of get it, because you have the whole family there, and you don't have to put in the effort to gather them on another day. Okay, cool. But it's a no from me, I'm sorry. Okay. When my daughter was just 12 months and learning to walk, we went to my mother-in-law's house for the holidays, which was totally not baby-proofed. Turns out her kitchen oven and all its controls were at eye height for a 12-month-old just learning to walk. We all found that out the hard way at Thanksgiving dinner, when the oven temperature was turned up to 450 degrees. The turkey was finished way before any of the other items were completed. Okay, so I don't really see that as a fail, but to be honest, I'm not American and I've never experienced the actual Thanksgiving. I just know that there's a lot of food that is supposed to be made, and you gather all the family and you eat together. Okay, cool. But to be honest, I thought that the turkey is going to be burned completely. If they found it before it got super burned, I don't know. I don't really see that as a fail. Okay. We went out as a family and cut down a tree. 2 days later, our cat started attacking the tree. We realized it was covered with praying mantis babies. There were hundreds of them. Oh god. We dragged our infested tree out of the house in the middle of the night, a week before Christmas. It was horrible, and I still have nightmares about it. Now that's a good fail. That's, wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't really, I'm not a fan of real trees, okay? It would break my heart to like throw the tree out after Christmas. I enjoy having plastic trees, and I'm fine. I don't feel, like I'm missing out on anything. But next story. My daughter is a November baby. I figured I'd do Christmas cards that doubled as our birth announcement that year ago. I got a Santa basket with old sleigh props. Easy, right? Well, the basket fell over despite being weighted down, and out rolls my 2-week-old. Then I put her in the sleigh. She fell asleep, and I snapped my pic. Well, apparently she peed, but I didn't realize until I printed out the pictures. You could see drips falling. No card went out. Wow. That's, yeah. I mean, at least it would be a funny card, right? I kinda get it why she didn't send out those Christmas cards, but it would be funny. Maybe. Okay, next story. When I was 6 years old, my mom decided not to wrap our Christmas presents and just place them in neatly stacked piles under the tree instead. Some of her siblings did this with their kids and told her how nice it was not to deal with cleanup on Christmas morning. Well, when my brothers and I walked down the stairs, we were absolutely horrified to see that Santa forgot to wrap our presents. I'm pretty sure we all cried. easier, of course, to not clean up, but it's also not that hard, you know, on Christmas morning. Come on. And I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, because as soon as I read it, I knew that the kids are going to be heartbroken. So whoever thought it was a good idea, I'm praying for you too. I think we need a lot of prayers today in this video. I'm joking, of course. Okay, next story. My mom got my firstborn a baby's first Christmas ornament. She was so excited to hang it on the tree until I pointed out that she had the wrong year on it. My daughter was born in 2013, not 2014. I was cracking up while my poor mom was almost in tears. She was so upset. We still have it and never bothered correcting it. I love it just the way it is. Okay. Well, it was an honest mistake, I guess. By the way, I have to make a lot of cuts in this video because the loud banging outside today is just insane. So, yeah, normally I don't have to edit this much, but this is the only time slot where I can film, unfortunately. Okay, my friend was getting ready to go out while her older son and husband were busy playing with their new PlayStation. She yelled down to make sure they were including her 4-year-old in their game too. The husband shouted back, "He's fine, he's pouring himself some chocolate milk." My friend yelled back that they don't have chocolate milk. That's when they realized he had gotten into her husband's Christmas Baileys. He was pouring it into a cup and taking sips. He was okay, but napped most of the day. They refer to it as their Christmas miracle. Gosh, how old was the baby? 4-year-old? We need more prayers for these people, don't we? Oh well. Oh well. Next story. I tried to be a good mom and do that thing where you have your kids unwrap a Christmas book each night for 25 nights. As soon as I turned my back, they opened them all at once. Yeah. I don't know, why didn't she just tell them, like, oh, this is for every day until Christmas? Did the kids not know what an advent calendar is or what? I don't know. Because I have had advent calendars too when I was small, and I knew not to open it all at once. I felt like it would just ruin the surprise for me and the joy, so I didn't do that. Oh well. Next story. 2 years ago, my 15-year-old daughter opened a box and looked at me strangely. I was confused until she turned it around to show me. Her present was full of empty boxes. I started laughing hysterically because I had been wondering what happened to all my gift boxes the night before. I unintentionally wrapped them all in one big box. How? Just how did that happen? What was the mom like drunk or like what happened? I don't know. Okay. One evening I arrived home from work to find the lights out. My wife had prepared a lovely candlelit dinner, and our 2 young sons, Garrett and Selden, not Sheldon, it says Selden here, were dressed in their suits. Hey, I joked, didn't we pay our hydro bill? A few months later, during the Christmas Eve candlelit procession, the church was packed and silent when Garrett asked, "Hey Dad, did they not pay their hydro bill too?" where Santa would be handing out gifts. The instructions from the organizers were to bring our own gifts, so I bought beach towels with the kid's name printed on them. Upon arriving, Devin said he couldn't believe the skinny Santa was actually Santa. His doubt turned to belief when he opened his gift. He has to be the real Santa, he said. How else would he know my name? Oh, that's also cute. I like that. By the way, I'm not reading fail stories anymore. I tried looking for like different happy ones. Some of my favorite childhood memories involve our family's annual trip to the local Christmas tree farm. Although we have an artificial tree at our house, my children are still able to partake in the tradition by accompanying my parents when they cut down their tree. When I announced we would be helping them pick a tree the following weekend, I expected Ethan, my 6-year-old, to be excited about the outing. Instead, he furrowed his brow, puzzled, and asked, "What did they do with the one we got them last year?" Oh, yeah, that's just kids. Have to explain to them, of course. Okay. On a flight to Mexico for Christmas vacation, I watched my 4-year-old son Max stare intently out the airplane window. We had just taken off and were passing through some big white clouds. Max looked concerned, and I wondered what he might be thinking about. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and a big smile came across his face. He announced loudly, "Mom, I know why we're not getting anywhere. We're stuck in all this snow." Oh yeah, 'cause it looks like you're not moving when you're in an airplane, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorting out how Santa fits in with the religious meaning of Christmas can be confusing for kids. This was evidenced by my 2-year-old daughter, Josie, as she pretended to read from a book. Then Santa forgave them their trespasses. I mean, we have very different Christmas, I feel like, compared to America. But even these days, we also have Santa Claus, even though it's not supposed to be the actual, because we have baby Jesus in my country that brings gifts. But these days I've noticed that baby Jesus looks oddly similar to Santa. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Okay. Years ago, we got a new supervisor at work. He was a nice man who moved his family from another state for his job. Fast forward a few years and his wife leaves him. His kids have nothing to do with him and he is living in a halfway house. My mother, my sister and I all work with him. I feel bad for him, so I invite him to our Thanksgiving dinner. I never dreamed he'd show up. Well, in the middle of dinner, there's a knock at the door. It's him and his friend, totally smashed. The friend just walks into the living room, sits down and falls asleep. Our supervisor sits at the table and proceeds to drink all the wine, really nice and expensive wine brought by my brother-in-law. I'll never live that down. You could have just taken the wine away from him. I would. Or we just like, oh, okay, that's enough, buddy. Just take it. Or kick them out. I don't know. But really, it's just kind of sad if you think about it, you know. Okay, last story. For the first year of my son's life, he couldn't sleep unless he was touching me. I'm just gonna say the previous sentence could have been worded very differently, but okay. Well, during can just, here's, okay, once the holiday cards would come in, you would have all the names. Have your son sign his name so it would look like cute. There you go. Problem solved. Right, so that will be it for today's video. I think I like the first story the most though, the one with the reindeer poop. Like I said, part 2 on my Patreon, where I will tell you also some of my holiday fail stories. Okay, thank you so much for tuning